For decades, Pakistan's military has projected itself as the only institution capable of holding the country together. Governments have come and gone, prime ministers have been in jail, disqualified or removed, but the army has always remained in the ultimate center of power. Today, that very institution is facing perhaps its biggest test in years. Pakistan is witnessing widespread unrest across multiple regions. Pakistan-occupied Kashmir is in open revolt. Balochistan continues to witness an intense insurgency. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa remains trapped in militant violence. Even Punjab, the traditional power base of Pakistan's military establishment, is witnessing protests in solidarity with demonstrators in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Ironically, this is happening at a time when Pakistan's Field Marshal Asim Munir is attempting to project himself as a global statesman, even offering to mediate between United States and Iran. But while he looks outward, Pakistan itself appears to be becoming increasingly unstable. So the question today is no longer whether Pakistan is in crisis. The real question is this: is Asim Munir slowly losing control of Pakistan? Hello and welcome, I am Jash Hirani, and today we examine whether the most powerful man in Pakistan is facing the biggest challenge of his tenure. Perhaps the biggest reason this crisis appears different is because criticism is no longer coming only from opposition parties or activists. It is now emerging from within Pakistan's own political and security establishment. Pakistan's Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi, who is equivalent to India's Home Minister, recently delivered one of the strongest warnings heard from a senior member of the government. He admitted that Pakistan's existing system has collapsed. According to Naqvi, the current governance model is incapable of solving the country's problems. Unless sweeping reforms are undertaken, Pakistan will continue debating the same issues even 10 years from now. That alone would have been a remarkable statement, but he went even further. Referring to Pakistan's frustrated youth, Naqvi said that whether one calls them young people or even cockroaches, if they unite, they can overturn everything. This is an extraordinary admission from Pakistan's Interior Minister. It reflects the growing frustration among Pakistan's younger population over unemployment, poor governance and political instability. Naqvi also made another important statement. He openly admitted that even Asim Munir cannot fix Pakistan by himself. He said unless politicians reform Pakistan's governance system, all the hard work being done by the Field Marshal would ultimately achieve little. Think about it, what it means. Pakistan's own Interior Minister is effectively admitting that military dominance alone cannot rescue the country. The second remarkable development came from the Pakistan Army itself. The Director General of Inter-Service Public Relations, Lieutenant General Ahmad Sharif Chaudhry, made an unusual political observation. Instead of speaking only about military operations, he argued that Pakistan's biggest challenge is governance. According to him, good governance is essential for Pakistan's security. He argued that military operations alone cannot solve Pakistan's problems. This is significant because Pakistan's military has historically projected security as primarily a military issue. Now even the army's official spokesperson is acknowledging that weak governance lies at the heart of Pakistan's instability. That itself is an admission that military force alone has failed to restore lasting stability. Perhaps the most politically explosive remarks came from veteran politician Maulana Fazlur Rahman, infamously known as Maulana Diesel. He criticized repeated calls by the Pakistan Army asking civilians to form armed groups against militants in Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. He questioned why ordinary Pakistanis should be expected to fight while the military receives salaries funded by taxpayers. Then came his direct challenge to Asim Munir. If the military wants to do politics, he said, then remove the uniform and contest elections. Let the people decide. That statement strikes at the very heart of Pakistan's civil-military relationship. For decades, Pakistan's military has exercised enormous influence over directly contesting elections. Now, a senior political leader is openly challenging that arrangement. While criticism grows within Pakistan's establishment, the situation on ground is becoming increasingly volatile. Pakistan-occupied Kashmir has witnessed weeks of protests led by the Joint Awami Action Committee. The protesters have demanded greater political rights, electoral reforms, increased autonomy and accountability for civilian deaths during the clashes with security forces. The latest elections have further intensified tensions. According to reports, Pakistan deployed more than 14,000 security personnel across the region. Snipers were reportedly positioned at several locations. There have also been allegations that security forces used live ammunition and long-range tear gas to disperse demonstrators. According to reports, at least 20 people were killed during the latest crackdown, while more than 50 were injured. Protest organizers claim that around 80 people have been killed by the Pakistani armed forces since demonstrations began in early June. Pakistani authorities dispute allegations of wrongdoing and maintain that security measures were necessary to preserve public order. Videos circulating online showed bodies lying on roads and residents pleading for international attention. One protester described Rawla Court as being filled with dead and wounded. Regardless of whether every claim can be independently verified, one fact remains undeniable. Pakistan-occupied Kashmir is witnessing one of its most serious periods of unrest in recent history. Another controversy quickly followed. After Al Jazeera aired detailed reports from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir highlighting protests, low voter turnout, and allegations regarding the electoral process, users across Pakistan reported being unable to access Al Jazeera's English website. Pakistan's Information Ministry accused the broadcaster of selective reporting and attempting to delegitimize the elections. However, no formal ban was publicly announced. The Joint Awami Action Committee described the reported restrictions as an attack on press freedom. If accurate, blocking an international news organization during such unrest raises further questions about transparency. Meanwhile, Pakistan continues to face serious instability in Balochistan. The province remains the center of a long-running insurgency involving various militant groups demanding greater autonomy or independence. According to Pakistan military spokesperson, over 31,000 intelligence-based operations have been conducted in Balochistan this year. That number itself reflects the scale of the challenge. Despite these operations, violence continues. Pakistan recorded more than 3,100 terror incidents this year across its length and breadth. Nearly 1,150 occurred in Balochistan alone. The Pakistan military says more than 2,000 militants nationwide have been killed during operations. Yet, despite these numbers, the conflict remains unresolved. The situation is equally concerning in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. Nearly two-thirds of Pakistan's reported terror incidents this year have taken place there. Pakistan military says the province has witnessed almost 2,000 terrorist attacks. Suicide bombings continue. Cross-border militancy remains a persistent concern. Despite conducting nearly 40,000 intelligence-based operations nationwide, Pakistan still recorded over 800 deaths this year involving civilians, soldiers and police personnel. This raises an obvious question. If thousands of operations are being conducted every year, why does violence remain so widespread? Perhaps the most politically significant development is that unrest is no longer confined to Pakistan's peripheries. Reports indicate demonstrations have also emerged in parts of Punjab expressing solidarity with protesters in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Punjab has traditionally been regarded as the political and military heartland of Pakistan. Any visible signs of unrest there carry symbolic importance because they suggest dissatisfaction in spreading beyond historically troubled regions. Another debate gathering momentum concerns Pakistan's governance structure itself. Both Interior Minister Mohsin Naqvi and military spokesperson Ahmad Sharif Chaudhry have spoken about the need for administrative reforms. There is increasing discussion within Pakistan about creating new provinces or restructuring administrative boundaries to improve governance. Supporters argue that smaller administrative units could improve service delivery and local representation. Critics, however, warn that such proposals also reveal how deeply Pakistan's existing governance model is under strain. When senior government ministers and military officials begin discussing fundamental restructuring of the state itself, it reflects the seriousness of the crisis. So to conclude, Pakistan today is confronting multiple crises simultaneously: an insurgency in Balochistan, persistent terrorist activity in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, mass protests in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, growing political criticism of military dominance, questions over governance from Pakistan's own interior minister, calls for reforms from the army spokesperson, open challenges to military supremacy from senior political leaders, and now even discussions about restructuring Pakistan into smaller administrative units. Individually, each of these developments would be significant. Taken together, they paint a picture of a country under enormous strain. Field Marshal Asim Munir remains the most powerful man in Pakistan, but power and control are not always the same thing. For years, the Pakistan army claimed that only it could guarantee stability. Today, instability appears to be spreading across multiple fronts at the same time. That does not necessarily mean Asim Munir is about to lose power. Pakistan's military has historically demonstrated a remarkable ability to preserve its institutional dominance even during periods of severe political turmoil. But it does raise an important question. If the military exists to maintain order and disorder is spreading from Balochistan to Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, from Pakistan-occupied Kashmir to parts of Punjab, then is Pakistan's most powerful institution beginning to lose its grip? Or is this simply another crisis that the military establishment will survive as it has many times before? The coming months may provide the answer. That's all for today's news report. Till I see you next time with another topic in hand. Thanks for watching.